All right, Sean Patel here with undefeated super welterweight Joseph Brown, fighting at middleweight this weekend on the Rolando Romero-Tio Lopez card. And Joseph, man, making noise in the Vegas gyms since you've come over to Vegas. What are you looking to show in the preliminaries of a big Vegas card like this?
I'm just looking to showcase my skill talent. I'm just so grateful to God for blessing me with another opportunity like this. It took a lot of hard work to get here, and I've been working a lot in the gym, and I'm just ready to show everybody what I've been working on.
You still training in the Mayweather gym?
I train at a lot of different places. I train there sometimes. I go to Salas too, where Rolly trains at. I've been sparring at Knuckleheads too, so I move around a lot.
You know, middleweight, I know you're campaigning really at 54, but middleweight is an open division. Do you see yourself, when we start talking top 15 in the sanctioning bodies, fighting at middleweight or at super welterweight?
Yeah, I think it depends on how my body grows and whatever opportunity presents itself best. Right now I haven't had no issues making 54, but I definitely do see myself moving up in the future. So I might hit a growth spurt, between now and then, because I'm only 19 and have to shoot up. But if the opportunity just opens up there, I'll just shoot up. There's no problem.
What kind of style do you feel like you're growing into right now, early as a professional?
You said that I have?
Yeah, no. What kind of style do you feel like you're growing into early on?
I feel like I'm turning more into like a boxer puncher. I feel like I've always been like a pure boxer as an amateur, stuff like that. And amateur, knockouts are kind of hard to come by, so I'm more of a defensive person. Move around and use my footwork and skill set. But as I turned pro and got older and started to kind of grow into my body frame and man strength, I've been able to learn how to sit down in my punches a lot. So I think I've definitely been turning into a boxer puncher for sure.
I know you've always had a good relationship with Rolly. I think it was you fought on the Fundora Cordell Booker card.
Yes.
And Rolly made sure to be up front. So was Floyd, and they were watching you fight. What's that relationship been like with Rolly Romero?
Oh, Rolly Romero's like my big brother, man. I've known him for a good little amount of time now, and we just really grown so close together. You know what I mean? I feel like that's one of those friendships where it was just like God ordained for sure, and he helps me like inside the ring and outside the ring. You know what I mean? So like I said, that's my big brother, and he was able to pull some strings and have me on his undercards.
Yeah, what was it? He was a part of a baptism you were a part of, or he bought you a Bible or something like that?
Yeah, I bought him one of his first Bibles. He gave me a Bible back, and we've been doing Bible studies together like since forever. You know what I mean? So me and him are really work together to both grow our relationships with Christ, just stronger and better each day by day.
So that was something you were like brought up in before coming to Vegas and knowing Rolly, or is this something, as a young man, you've entrenched yourself in more?
I've always been like a Christian my whole life, but as I got older, I feel like my relationship with God has just gotten stronger and stronger, just going through life, even though I'm only 19, just my own life experiences have just really strengthened my own personal relationship with God. And when I met Rolly, I was really able to, share my experiences with him, and him share his experiences with me, and we've been able to grow together. And I'm sure you guys have all seen the change in the last couple of years from Rolly like 2 years ago to Rolly now, a completely different person.
How do you adapt what you learn and what you study, as a Christian to boxing?
I do this all for the glory of God. You know what I mean? There's been so many different, great mighty men in the Bible that had to go out to war to defend God's people. You know what I mean? And I feel like God called me to box to get that big stage, a big platform to just share His love with the world. So that's my goal, and that's what I'm doing right now.
How do you see his fight going with Teofimo?
I see him winning, of course, by however he wants to win. He's prepared very well this camp. To be honest, his development from the beginning to the end has been like almost like a night and day difference. So if he's ready to box Tio for 12 rounds, or if the knockout comes, he's gonna come. So honestly, just by however he wants to win,
Yeah, Tio's the betting favorite, significant. Not as big a odds as Ryan had, who Rolly obviously upset, but Tio's the favorite. What do you think is maybe being overlooked or not analyzed properly in having Tio the favorite?
I think maybe it could be like maybe the way Rolly lost his couple fights, but he was super dehydrated during those fights. Like with the Tank fight, he lost 17 pounds like the night before, which is crazy. And the same thing with the Pitbull fight, he cut a lot. He's been a welterweight for a long time, and he was trying to sacrifice himself to make those lower weight classes to get those belts, but I feel like that's playing a factor of why T would be a little bit of the favorite in this fight. But Rolly's at the right weight class now, so I think everyone's gonna definitely see that this time around. I feel like they saw it in the Ryan fight, and that was his first fight at 47. Now he's had a whole year to really grow into it and mature into it. So I think it's definitely gonna show on Saturday night.
What would your you got him winning, but in what fashion? What would your final call on that be?
Honestly, like I said, however he wants. If he wants to be patient in boxing, he'll make it a boxing clinic just like he did with Ryan. And if he wants to knock out, I feel like he'll be able to set it up however he wants to.
Got it. And lastly, too, how confident are? I mean, every fighter obviously has to have that confidence, but how confident are you you'll become world champion? And what at 19 what areas need to be grown and honed the most? Obviously all of them, but specifically to get where you want to go in boxing.
Well, I'm 100% confident I'll be world champion. I've been around and sparring world champions since I was like 15 years old and holding my own and beating a lot of them. So, I know what my skills are capable of, and they're only growing and getting better. Like you said, I'm only 19, so it's hard to pinpoint what exactly I need to work on in this area, because I'm so young that I could get better in every area. 5 years from now, I'm gonna be better in every single area. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about consistency and taking my time with moving along. And when the time's right, I'll get that title shot and prove why I'm one of the best in the world.
You said you've sparred champions. Was Rolly one of them that you sparred with before?
Yeah, I've sparred with. Like I said, that's my big brother. So me and Rolly have done a few rounds in the past.
When's the last time you guys worked together?
His last camp. We didn't work together this camp because Tio's a little bit different. We worked together a little bit when he fought Ryan because I think stylistically I'm a little bit closer to Ryan than Tio. So.
Is he the hardest puncher that you've sparred with?
For sure. Yeah. He definitely is the hardest puncher. A lot of people are surprised by that, but honestly, he is.
And who are the other champions you've worked with?
I've sparred. This camp I sparred a lot with Brian Mendoza. Got a lot of rounds with him. Solid work. I sparred Boots, Carlos Adames, Chris Eubank. There's so many.
You're saying Rolly hits harder than Adames and Boots?
He does.
That's crazy.
I know. It is crazy. He's got a different type of power, but I think he does hit a little bit harder.
But those guys can crack, right?
They can crack, which is just tells you how much more he can crack.
Right. No, that's kind of absurd.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, but when you're in there with him, it's like you understand. You're like, oh wow, yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for your time.
Thanks,
Joseph. Have a good one. Have a good fight.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.